jewells68 here for Talk to Me Tuesday on Thursday, February 27th. As you can see, I have a very special backdrop behind me. Drum roll, please. Dun 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 dun. It's the Get Well quilt, and it is quilted, bound, washed, labeled, everything. It's ready to be gifted. Just working right now with some folks at work on coordinating how we're going to get this to the recipient. In addition to the quilt, and I will put some pictures in at the end, but in addition to the quilt, I also made a coordinating pillowcase using the hot dog pillowcase tutorial from Sew Hooked, and a little bit of leftover flannel from the back, and some leftover binding, which worked out perfectly for the little flange. I just like saying that word, flange. Anyway, so there's that. And in addition to the quilt and the pillowcase, which will be wrapped in the quilt, or strike that, reverse it. The quilt will be wrapped in the pillowcase. I also went to, in January, talked to our Project Linus coordinator and asked her if I could have a blanket for his daughter, who's in 2nd grade. And she said, absolutely, I'll bring some, and you can pick whichever one you want. And this is the one I chose for multiple reasons. One, how beautiful and cheerful is that? It's just beautiful. It's like a sunburst, or a, you know what I'm saying. Just cheerful. In addition, it's an odd shape for Linus, so I know it was probably a relief for her to know that she didn't have to try to fold this into a rectangle. So there's that. I'm done. I made my deadline. It is February. I started it, and the whole project got started the first week of January. I think that's pretty damn good, especially for me, who, you know, works full-time and is not good at doing this stuff. I'll say, not that I'm not good. I'm very inexperienced. So this is only today the 2nd quilt that I have done by myself from start to finish. The last 2 that I started ended up being finished by that awesome Ophenjen for me, because the first one because of shoulder surgery, and the second one because of it just getting shoved aside with my mother's illness. So, phew! I actually did this one all on my own. Not that I didn't ask a million questions and get tons of awesome advice from the ladies at Linus, from Ophenjen, from you guys here. So, yay! Okay, so what's next? What's next on Jewel's agenda? Over here, I have a to-do list for February. I'm making my lists 1 month at a time. They're shorter, less overwhelming. I find that's really working for me. So on that list, the only thing that is not crossed off is paper piecing vintage. And I am perfectly happy to carry that, my February block, into March. I'm okay with that. No one else is waiting for it. I am looking forward to doing it, but I'm not worried about doing it in March. I should have no problem getting caught up on the 12-inch version in March, and the 6-inch version has been kind of put on hiatus. That's the one I'm making from fabrics from my mom's stash of fabrics, and I wanted to use her sewing machine for that. I just thought it'd be kind of a cool idea, and I sat down to check her machine out this weekend, and oh my goodness, actually it might have been last Friday, no, it was last weekend. I sat down to try to use it, and wow, it won't even budge. That thing, I opened the bobbin case, and I swear it was like a flock of bats flew out. There were so many dust bunnies in there. It was horrible. So I'm guessing that it has not been oiled or maintained since my father passed away 11 years ago, and has not probably been used in at least 6 years. So, and that means it hasn't been oiled, it hasn't been sewn on, nothing. And it's been sitting, you know, we're in the desert, things dry out here. So, not good. So, it's going to take a lot more TLC to get going, and that's okay. I'm not in a rush to get that done. the cats are getting antsy for their food. I'm not in a rush to get that done, so that's not a problem. So, the next thing that's not crossed off is birthday blocks. That's still on my February list. There were, we finalized the birthday block swap mid-February, and so got a late start. I've already finished and sent off the January blocks, which I think I showed pictures of last week or the week before. Remind me if I didn't, but they're the rainbow colored ones. I'm pretty sure I did. And then there are 2 birthdays in February. I just got started on the first one, the earliest one, last night, using Christmas fabrics, which she said she wanted Christmas colors, and she said Christmas fabrics were fine. It's quilter's choice, so I can do any pattern I want. And I decided to just make it up as I went along. So I had these charm squares from a prize that I won at a quilt store a couple of years ago. And I started making these half square, triangle, square sets. I don't know what you call these, but anyway, so I started making these out of the charm squares, and I should have, we're each making 2 blocks because there's only 6 people, I think, besides ourselves in the swap. So that everybody has enough to make a quilt out of. We're each making 2 blocks. It just needs to be 12.5 inches for this particular person. And I think I have enough squares there to, once I add the white fabric that I'm going to be adding and maybe some gold fabric, I'll be able to have enough for both squares out of the same fabric. That should be fine. The second birthday is Jenna Floors, and hers was, I think, the 13th of February. And I have her fabrics right here, and her pattern right here. She actually had a pattern off quilterscast.com. And these are just a few of the fabrics that I've pulled for this particular block. There's another one. There's some more. I don't know if you can see it. But anyway. She said, think oceany, blues and aquas, scrappy, and a white background. So, my goal is to, even though those are on my February list, my goal is to get those 2 blocks finished this weekend and in the mail early next week. And then I will start on the March blocks, and I think there's 2. I'll have to double check, but I think there's 2. And then I think that might be it for a little while. I'm not sure. I'll have to look. And I guess that's it. No. Okay, so I was so excited yesterday to have A, completed the pillowcase, B, completed this quilt, and have that ready to go, that I happened to be at Joann's yesterday replenishing my needle supply because I was completely out of the size I use the most, and had some coupons, and the novelty prints and licensed fabrics were 40% off, and then I had a coupon for an additional 20% off of my total fabric purchase, and so I could no longer resist the pull of the classic Star Trek fabric. So I bought 2 prints. One is from the animated series. Is that upside down? No. One is from the animated series, and the other is just that black and white of the Enterprise, classic Enterprise. And I think there's some more pillowcases in my future. I guess that's it. I'm not even going to worry about my March to-do list until this weekend, so I will sit down and make my to-do list this weekend, and just like February, it's going to be less than 6 things. I'm going to try to keep it on one hand, the number of goals for each month, and that's including swaps that I'm involved in. So, I guess that's it. I will enjoy watching the rest of your videos. I've only watched a couple so far this week. I'm a little behind, but I'm going to finish those up hopefully by tomorrow, and I will see you guys next week. Bye! Hi, Jewells68 here, and I realized I'm at an angle. Hi, Jewells68 here for Talk to Me. Okay.